Hi, I'm here with T. Statman, and of course, she's the author of the Real Deal Student Athlete Success Kit from September 2020. She's a University of Arizona graduate, all American academic, 2015 to 2019. Played for U of A 2019 Women's College World Series, Tucson Del Sol pageant queen, and more recently married.
Yes.
So tell us about your book.
Yeah, so I wrote my book because someone he's like, you should write a book on what being a student athlete was like. And I was like, I do have a lot of stories. And I started looking online and I realized there's actually no books on the market that speak about the student athlete experience. There's stories of people who've overcome great challenges, who were student athletes, but there's nothing that exclusively focuses on while being a student athlete. There's also plenty of books on recruiting, but they don't tell you what to do once you get to college. So they tell you how to get there, but they don't tell you what to do once you're there. So I figured, I was like, I can fill this gap, especially being a Division I Pac-12 athlete. I could fill that gap. So I started writing, and I wrote it pre-pandemic. So I started writing pre-pandemic. So it wasn't like a pandemic like venture. I started writing it prior to that, and then obviously I had more time to finish it during that time. But it was a great work with a lot of input from a lot of just my former teammates and parents. This book is really for parents and for future student athletes who are just wanting to look into what life is like as a student athlete, and maybe some advice that I wish I had when I was there.
That's good. I'm definitely sure that that's very helpful. So who is your target audience? You said parents and people that want to be student athletes. So would you say junior high, middle school, high school would be a target?
Yes, I would say upper middle school, as long as your kid's a little mature, because I do talk about, what happens in college, as long as they can handle that. I talk a little bit what happens in college, nightlife, stuff like that. Sorry, parents, but it's just something that you have to expect when you go to college. But there's also obviously talking about softball, academics, how important it is you have to maintain that life, and just being able to kind of understand what you're going to be stepping into. This could also be good for someone who has been recruited and they really they're not sure about what to expect. So parents, student athletes, it's across the board. The story can be applied not just to softball, but across the board. We all have different practice times, but you still have to go to class and you still do have practice. So it can be cross-applied among sports.
That's awesome. That these younger athletes need to realize that doesn't matter what they're going into, they could definitely pull some facts and information and your experiences from it. So it's awesome. So let me ask you this question. What did you learn about yourself when you wrote the book?
I've learned, every time me and Coach would, like in our yearly conversations, sometimes we had to fill out this thing that basically showed how self-aware you were. And he always told me that it was pretty self-aware. And while I was writing this book, I kind of reflected on that. I was really trying to take advantage of everything that the college was offering to me. And I had some of my teammates saying, oh, I wish I took advantage of a lot of the stuff that was offered. And I was just the crazy person who is wanting to take advantage of all this stuff as a freshman. I was just trying to do everything and maximize my college experience, which not everyone does. And it's kind of just fun to reflect back on college and kind of unlocking some memories that I totally forgot about during that time.
Well, good. So in that process, I'm sure you learned and developed, and so it was a great thing for you as well, not just for others. So have you done any book signings?
I sign books and mail them to people, but I have not done any book signings per se.
Okay.
So if anyone wants, I don't know.
I might want one.
So if anyone wants to vend me out for a book signing for.
Okay. I saw your book advertised on Amazon.
Oh yeah, so it's on Amazon. Yeah, that's where it lives. It lives on Amazon. It's produced by Amazon. I queried a couple of actual agencies in terms of book production, but I was told because I don't have 100,000 Instagram followers to just do the self-publishing route. They did like the book, but they said I'd be probably more successful doing that self-publishing route, and I don't have to buy like a bajillion copies of my book.
So if someone wants to find your book and order it, would you say Amazon will be a go-to site, and are there any others?
Amazon is the place where you can find it. The Real Deal, the Real Deal Student Athlete Success Kit on Amazon. It's under my maiden name, Tamara Statman. It's just right there on Amazon. You can always reach out to me if you want a signed copy. I have copies here that I can mail you. Any way that you can get it, you can reach out to me or just get it on Amazon.
Okay, very good. Now, are you still doing media? I know that you were the host of a radio show when you were at U of A.
I was. So I was involved with camp radio at U of A, and then I went on to work at Wildcats 1290. And then I work in education now. So it's kind of a jump, but working in media was fantastic. And I'm still doing stuff here and now. I have a podcast with my co-host, Maren Angus. It's called the Running Polls Podcast because we'd be running polls, like, foul polls, if coach actually heard what we'd be saying. So we have a couple pro athletes on there. We have some really good things in the works with that podcast.
Awesome. So tell us about your education, what you're doing now. I mean, you said you're into education. That's your career now. Would you be willing to share that with us?
Yeah. So I work online. I teach at a classical. Can you cut this? I don't know how to describe it because I do like a lot of different jobs working in education. I help instruct different scholars on different math gaps that they have. I fill in wherever the school really needs me to fill in, and I'm helping develop just different policies and procedures with the school. I've had a really great opportunity here, and I'm just really thankful. Going from regular standard brick and mortar, I was teaching history, then I was teaching math, and I've jumped around being a substitute teacher in many different capacities, but I'm really, really happy with where I am in education, and hopefully educating and helping educate the next generation of scholars and people.
That's awesome. Well, you're a good role model for sure. There's no question about that.
Oh, well, when they Googled me, the kids Googled me, and then they found a Wikipedia page and found all the social media. So definitely gave them a talking to about that. But I'm glad that I've built such a brand that it's great for them to be able to see like how you can build your brand and what you can look like and all that stuff.
So besides your book, can you share how being a student athlete has helped you post graduation from the University of Arizona?
It's more of all of the values that you hold and the skills that are drilled into you as an athlete, and the drive that you have towards goals. And many of us former student athletes have very similar skill sets that you can really take anywhere. And it's been very, very helpful to become adaptable, to be able to just work with many different people. Obviously, team sport, you have to be able to deal with many different personalities. And all those skills of being, even if you're not playing college athletics, if you stop at high school or you play throughout your youth, like that is so important. Even as an adult, if you're playing in different teams and leagues and all that stuff, like you're gaining all these skills that you're able to cross apply to life. And That's such a coach thing to say, but it's very true that you can apply it, and these skills are just great. So you have a parent, put them in sports, put them in something that where they have to interact with other people and just learn something new.
That's awesome. So I've got to talk about it now and ask, because you've mentioned coach a couple times. Now I know who you're talking about, the legendary Mike Candrea. Can you talk about Coach Candrea and what he means to you and what you learned from him?
Yeah, coach is probably one of the greatest role models that you could ever have as an athlete. He finds a way to make bad things good at the end of the day, or turn it into some sort of life lesson. He's just like such a great person to be able to like talk to and like bounce ideas off of, and he's really like a big student of the game, and just being able to learn from him. And you just like, the worst thing you can do is disappoint him. I swear, it's like, you don't want to disappoint him. Like that feels worse than like that. You don't want to strike out 1,000 times, but if you get that one, like the one great hit, like that's like what you live for, obviously for yourself, but then also to see coach's reaction to that stuff's great. But it's been great. He's been in very much retirement mode. Hopefully him and I can play some golf soon, but he's been such a wonderful role model, and especially because he wrote the foreword of my book. So hopefully I've impacted.
That, right? How
yeah,
hopefully
I asked him and I was like, oh, like maybe he'll say yes, I hope maybe. And he said yes. So I feel very honored that he maybe learned from me something that I learned from him, you know?
So when Mike Candrea Field was designated, and I know that he had a ceremony or an event, were you able to attend that?
I wasn't able to attend the basketball game, but I did go to his retirement party, which was really, really fun. I was with a couple people when we saw that they renamed the field, and we were talking about this when we were student athletes. Me and a couple of managers, he's like, okay, Mike Candrea Stadium or Field, and then you have that Caitlin Lowe, like home, like all these different scenarios that you could have, and it's what an honor for him to have, and it's very well deserved.
Yeah, for sure. And I've been at the games this season, and I've seen him up in the box.
Mm-hmm.
And he's still up there, and you look up and you could see him up there, and you just know he's sharing his experiences in softball, and he's probably telling people, pointing out things to people, about the game. And so it's really cool to see him around, which I expected. And so now, are you still playing or affiliated with the Israeli national softball team?
So I was playing with them, but my time playing at least has come to a close. I am working administrative with them. Oh no, I have a dog. I think he has to go to the bathroom. He does have to go to the bathroom. But I work with them administratively. So I'm working on that end with fundraising. So if anybody wants a tax deductible donation to the JNF, also please message me and I can get you set up with the JNF to help donate money for Israel softball, having them compete in Europe. It's a great opportunity to help just build softball in Israel, in Europe, get it known all over the world. And we're hopefully building more fields in Israel so we can make it more accessible to the kids there.
Awesome. Now I've got to ask you to talk for a minute about International Women's Day yesterday.
Sorry, I'm getting the dog. Yes, International Women's Day. What about it?
So what's it mean to you?
International Women's Day, it's kind of just a day to honor all the women that have come before us, and the women that are here now, just not only in sports, but in life, the women who really, I'm at a loss for words right now, who really inspire you, the women who've changed the world. And it's just been a great day to see all the posts for all the ladies out there from like very early centuries to today who have been real trailblazers in life and in sports.
That's awesome. Now, do you have plans to write any more books?
Yes, not maybe not sports books. I am writing. It's kind of been on the back burner, but I occasionally go back to it. I'm writing a kind of dystopian novel. I don't know if that will ever get released, but I am taking my creative outlets there. But if someone has any more ideas in terms of sports or any of that, I can always answer any of your questions regarding that.
Okay, very good. So the book is The Real Deal Student Athlete Success Kit by T. Statman. And I hope a lot of parents watch this because they need to be going out, parents that are softball parents. This book is right up their alley, no question. And I hope they go out and get this book because there's no question in my mind that this is going to be definitely a good tool for any kid that is wanting to get into, like you said, T, any sport, not just softball. There's going to be lessons learned in it. And I'm going to read the book.
Oh, I appreciate that. Don't just say you read the book. Actually read it. It's only 88 pages. I made it just short enough so kids would actually read it. Okay, no one's reading that 100, 125. Like, they gave me books when I was in high school that were on mental toughness. I never read them. They were too long. I read a couple pages, even though I'm a big book person. I never actually finished them. So hopefully this is just short enough so they actually finish it.
Sounds like you did the right thing there. And you definitely crafted it in such a way that I think that there's going to be some people, even more people wanting to read your book.
I really appreciate that.
You're welcome. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Have a very good day.
You too.
Bye-bye.